What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're doing a bit of a tier list on the free-to-play Clash characters that are available on OPTC, and you can actually access these characters from the Recollective archive. Now, with level limit break expansion, a lot of free-to-play characters get a very big buff because you can get them to level 150 quite easily. Now, don't take this as a guide to say get these characters to level 150, but hopefully it gives you guys a bit of an idea of what characters are worth farming to at least unlock the level 5 of said characters. I don't recommend getting characters to level 150 unless you need them for a specific piece of content, and at the moment, the only content that warrants it is Grand Voyage. So, with all these Clash characters, I don't recommend getting any of them leveled up. But if you guys are looking for stuff to farm with the release of new Marco, getting XP, and looking for stuff to do before the anniversary as well, and for all you new players out there that are just joining the game, hopefully this tier list will help you guys out in terms of what free-to-play Clash characters you want to farm first. So, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you are new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button. I do want to make note that I will probably forget some stuff in this video. Please let me know in the comment section below if I do. I love to have discussions with you guys about this sort of stuff. Everyone keeps it positive, which is always good to see. But please let me know if I do forget anything. And I do apologize in advance because I know that I will. Before we continue as well, huge shout out to the database for the images provided, as well as the tier list maker for the raid or Clash character tier list. Links for both of those will be in the description below. But with that said, let's dive into the video. Alright, so over here on Tier List Maker, like I said, huge shout out to Tier List Maker. You guys want to make your own tier list or you want to check it out, links in the description. I do have a bunch of tiers here. Now, I've tried to separate as best I can, just so that way we can separate characters. And down the bottom here, we've got Valhalla. This is where we're going to send all of the characters that you just don't even need to worry about, because you're never going to use them. PvP or support are characters that you can use in PvP, or may have good supports. Stuff like, for example, let's just chuck a character on straight away. You got something like this Mihawk. This Mihawk's actually pretty good for slasher teams. He's also a 5% base stat booster for slasher characters, so you can use him as a base stat booster if you need to. But getting him to level 150, using him in PvP if you are an incredibly good grinder and you have a lot of XP materials, you can do that. But like I said at the start, I don't recommend getting these characters to level 150. I just recommend, unlocking the level 5 limit break abilities. Niche is pretty much like you use them that one time, and that's kind of all they're good for. Solid is okay, but there's probably better options. Good are yep, it's cool, they're kind of there. The awesome tier, this is where I would start looking at farming, and godly, obviously this is exactly where you want to start. So once you've done all the godly units, that's when I would make my way down to awesome. Possibly do the goods if you want to. Niche, I would sort of farm it up when you need them, but if you've got the time and you got the drive, then you know what they say, it's all about drive, it's all about power. We stay hungry, we devour. So yeah, like I said, Mihawk, he's going to be PvP or support. HB cutter in regular play, doesn't see too much play. This Chopper, honestly, Monster Chopper sucks. He's just bad. This Garp actually has a lot of HP. I think it's 13% HP on his level limit break expansion. So you could use it as a HP support if you need him. Zephyr, Dookie. This Ivankov, very good for PvP int teams. Does a lot of attack down. Quite a good character. This Dofi, honestly, he's pretty niche, I guess. Maybe a little bit solid. I wouldn't say he's good at all, but a 2x Rainbow Orb boost, as well as I'm pretty sure he can, manipulate orbs, is not terrible at all. Raid Blackbeard, very good for, Treasure Map. If you guys don't know, you can use him as a Treasure Map on the easy stage, and that way you got a lot of HP, so Clash Big Mom can go absolutely better. Herculeson and Usopp, they suck. This Kuzan, no. Enel's okay, mainly because he's a 2x attack booster to, quick units, but he also does damage to yourself, so that way you can actually get around stun. So, honestly, he's probably more niche rather than solid, but he's a free-to-play option. Duval, no. The Admirals from the, Buster Call, honestly, they all suck. Same with this Luffy, this Luffy's not good. As for this Kuma, though, this Kuma's actually pretty good. Honestly, he's a 1.75 times orb booster. He's a cerebral powerhouse unit. I'm pretty sure he rotates bomb, recovery, tandem orbs, and stuff like that. He's actually pretty awesome. He's a Kuma character too, so he has some pretty cool supports. Namely the Moria. I'm pretty sure Moria goes on. Is it Moria? No, I'm thinking of the actual Kuma support. Never mind. But this Kuma's actually pretty good. A nice orb booster, orb manipulation. What else could you really like? This Boa. She's pretty good. She's a chain locker. Nothing too amazing, actually. She's probably more solid rather than anything. But definitely not a go-to in terms of chain lock, just because chain locks are so high now, and she's a 2.5. She actually has a really good support, though. I'm pretty sure she gives a chain lock to Luffy characters, if if I remember correctly. But she's pretty solid. Like, yeah, she's okay. She's alright. We'll put her in solid for now. All of this is subject to change as well as the tier list goes on. You guys know that. Pika, this Clash Pika. Hiduki. I can't remember last time I used him. This Kizaru, though, is pretty good. He's just good for cooldowns for fighter teams, shooter teams. Fortunately, fighters are on the rise, but, like, shooters, they still struggle a little bit. The fake Straw Hat, he can get out of here. This Sabo is fairly niche. If you can get the tap timing bonus, he's pretty good, but other than that, like, you're never really going to use him. As for Shiki, 1.3 times attack boost to Driven on the final stage. Very good support, especially if they have an attack up interrupt. Tessero, see you later. Mr. Akainu. I'm pretty sure Akainu is like a 2 times color affinity booster to strength characters. Not the greatest, to be honest. I'm going to put him in solid, but there is a better option when we are talking about Clash characters. Magellan does poison. Honestly, I haven't used him in forever. This Frankie's pretty niche because you can completely remove healing on the enemy, as well as like end of 2 damage and all that sort of stuff. He's also an attack booster, and he might be an orb booster as well, but he's pretty niche. I haven't used him in God knows how long because the content hasn't warranted it. But if it ever does come up where you need that, he's going to be a go-to. Bellamy. Bellamy is a weapon in PvP for the quick team. He's also a driven character. But this Bellamy I use insanely. Like, I use him so much because he gets double special activation. And I'm going to chuck him up in Godly. I think this Bellamy is really, really good. He gives a 1.75 times orb boost. He gives Sign in orbs matching. And you can use his special twice. He's great for stuff like Garbs challenges. He's great for stuff like arenas and that where you need like an orb boost on 2 stages. And for a free-to-play character, he's very, very good. As for Fujitora is actually pretty good too. He does a Slasher and Powerhouse, I'm pretty sure, 2 times orb boost, as well as adjacent orbs matching. He was one of my go-to characters when I first started playing the game. Very, very good. Came out around the time of Legend Sanji, V1 Sanji. Neo Dofi, we're actually going to slap him just straight next to this other Dofi for now. Because, yeah, like they basically do the same thing, they're just different colors. Same with this Strength Pika. The Strength Pika is Dookie. Same with the Neo, what's his name? Aokiji, he kind of, like, they don't really do anything else, right? This Mihawk. This Mihawk, he's going to go probably in the same spot as the other Mihawk. I don't know if they have the same Pyre Rumble abilities, but I'm assuming they do. They're basically just the same, but Neo Mihawk is quick, right? Virgo, I'm pretty sure Virgo has a pretty good support, if I remember correctly. I can't exactly remember what he does, but I'm pretty sure he has a good support. As for Neo Sabo, you can't farm these Neo characters too, by the way, so that's why I'm just going to put them next to their counterpart. You have them, that's sort of where they go. But nevertheless, they are still okay. Strength Bellamy, he's the Neo version of Bellamy. We're going to stick him up here in Godly because he's just a strength version. Actually, no, because the Neo characters don't have limit breaks. Yeah, so the Neo characters don't have limit breaks, which makes this Bellamy like infinitely worse. Like infinitely worse. Like, to the point where, like, I'm actually going to take him completely off the tier list. Like, that double special activation is what makes Bellamy so good. Like, that's the bottom line. Neo Kuma, again, I'm going to put him next to actual Kuma because he's just an int variation. Obviously, the regular raids are just better because they have limit breaks. Like, it's kind of wild, actually. So, yeah, it's odd. As for Sanji, he is a 2 times attack boost to Powerhouse characters. He's a Sanji character, too. So, like, he's pretty good. Like, nothing to... He's not bad. Definitely not bad. I wouldn't say he's amazing, but he's definitely not bad. Neo Akainu, we're going to start you next to actual Akainu because, you know, like, you're a color of him to int, not strength. Caesar, I honestly couldn't even tell you what Caesar does. It's been so long since I've used him, or I don't think I've ever used him. Bardo, good for damage reduction if you need that. He's got quite a good support too, actually, if I remember correctly. But the whole idea is just to tank stuff like death shots. Rayleigh's actually pretty awesome. He's a 1.75 times rainbow attack booster, and he has the Sailor ability where he gets cooldowns if another character uses a special. He's a slasher cerebral as well, which makes him very, very strong. And I actually remember using him as a captain when I first started playing the game, so he's pretty awesome. As for Neo, Enaru, he's going to go in the niche category as well, next to the other Enel, because, like, stun is pretty much all you're using this guy for, and just, like, a nice chunky attack boost. Senior Pink, absolutely dookie. This, what's it called? This Lucci is pretty niche in the sense that if you can get his conditional boost off, he's actually fairly good, because he's a delayer, and he gives a conditional against delay. You can see play with him, but unfortunately, like, nowadays, it's just not, it's not all there. As for the, Tank Man, this Tank Man, if I remember correctly, is pretty solid. He does like a bunch of buffs to side characters. I'm pretty sure he's like a HP booster as a support. And then he does like a 1.5 times attack and orb, as well as like a chain boost. He's pretty solid if you need him for like a 1-turn burst. But like, because he's a Luffy character, he kind of struggles a little bit there. because like Luffy just has better options. Neo Boa gonna go next to actual Boa. I feel like you're pretty much only using Boa as like a support because she's basically just like a nerfed version of Halloween Boa. So I think I'm just gonna put her down into PvP and support to be like, if I'm completely honest. However, the Neo one is a 3-turn chain locker, so we're going to leave her up here in solid. So yeah, she's going to stay there. As for this Zoro is probably like the best Clash character in the entire game. I don't think there's like even a competition for him. He's a 2x color affinity booster to Driven and Slashes. If you're at like max HP, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, he's a 1.75 times color affinity booster anyway. He can remove damage reduction, he can remove threshold, he does damage, so you have access to the Kyo Shiro support. He's just awesome. Honestly, this Zoro is so good. He is the one that I would farm up first. Definitely go for this particular Zoro. Cracker. This Cracker's pretty awesome. He rotates block orbs, which is like the big gimmick with him. He gives you a full body dex orbs, which he also makes matching, which is always nice. So he's a fairly solid unit. Pretty, well, better than solid, I should say. He's a pretty awesome unit. As for this Blackbeard, he can be pretty good. If you need one turn of like resilience removal, like damage null removal, anything like that, he's your go-to guy. If you're below 90% HP as well, he can actually give you a 2x attack boost, which is pretty nice. But other than that, like, he does seem to be quite niche in the sense that he's only really good for that, like, one turn of, like, damage reduction or damage null removal. This, Dofi, very, very niche. If your captain is a cerebral or driven character, he extends your buffs by 2 turns, which is great and all, but, like, there's very rarely times where you actually need that, and when you do need it, it works really, really well. So, like, we've got to stick him in niche. I think he does some orb manipulation as well, but other than that, he's kind of, like, cool. As for this Judge is actually pretty good. He's a 2x color affinity booster for Dex, Psi, and Strength, if I remember correctly. He also removes Chain Coefficient, which makes him actually quite nice as a sub. Some utility there, which is quite good. This Arlong, honestly, he's trash. This Ace, I really like this Ace. I use him in PvP, like, sorry, not PvP. I use him in, what's it called? Treasure Map quite a bit. He's a 2x orb booster to Powerhouse and Free Spirit characters. He does a lot of damage, and he's quite a good character. He has a very good support, and he rotates block orbs as well. Just absolutely phenomenal free-to-play character. Definitely farm him up. As for this Frankie, just get rid of you. Big Mom. This Big Mom, honestly, for the amount of use she gets in Treasure Map, like, you have to sort of put her up here in Godly. She'll cut your HP by 50%, I'm pretty sure. She has double special activation and special charge. And then she deals damage to all enemies, or maybe it's to one, actually I think it's to one enemy, based on how much HP you lost. And then when you hybrid her up, like, on this guy's team, like, the Treasure Map combo of, like, Stage 1 is just so damn powerful for so long. Such a good combo, and whilst I think she's pretty niche in the sense of, like, the two of these, like, these two work so well together, like, she's pretty godly. She's one of those characters you want to level limit break, because she gets so much use. But in saying that as well, like, you only really use her for that Treasure Map fight, you know? And that's the same thing for this Blackbeard, right? If you said that she's godly, you're going to have to say that he's godly, I guess. So, I'll leave her down here in niche. Not once in my life have I ever used this beach, so he's going to go. Miguel and Hannibal, 2x color affinity to int and quick units. And they can remove poison, which helps with poison sockets, just literally with their switch ability. So, for me, I wouldn't say they're godly, but I would definitely say that they're awesome. 2x color affinity is always nice, but just that ability to just switch and remove poison orbs is so good. Like, so stupidly good. As for Sengoku Garp, young Sengoku Garp, they're just good, honestly. They've got a really good switch ability. So I had a quick Sticky Beak, and they actually removed Despair, but they also remove all positive buffs. So they're one of those characters you can use if you get like a 1.1 times attack boost or orb boost, or something like that, and they can actually remove them, which is pretty nice. As for this Leo hasn't seen play in God knows how long, like, so we're just going to get rid of him. As for all of these characters here, the Stampede Clash units, they're actually not too bad. I think some are better than others, all of these guys here. But if I'm completely honest, like, I haven't used them in, like, yonks. Like, I haven't used them in God knows how long. They're all, like, a 1.75 times attack boost, and then they do, like a what's it called? They do, like, a utility. I'm not going to sit here and look them all up and pretend like I know what they're doing, what they do. So I'm just going to stick them all into solid, because I know, like, they're not terrible, and I know some are better than others, but, like, I just know they're not terrible, and when they can see use, they will. But at the same time, this solid category here, like, this is kind of like if you're super bored, farm these characters, like, if I'm completely honest with you. This Lucci's actually pretty good. He is a color affinity booster to Strength, Quick, and int. If you have like a certain amount of strength characters, he can remove bind, he can remove damage reduction and stuff like that. The downside to him is it's quite finicky when you want to put him on a team. Say you want a bind remover and he fits that category, but then you don't have the requirements to get it. He can be a little bit annoying. But nevertheless, he is still very good. As for the Sabo that came around at the same time, that Sabo's godly. He removes attack down, and he is a color affinity booster to Psi, Dex, and Strength. But the main reason you use him is for his burn removal and his attack down removal. Very, very good character. Plus, he is a Sabo, which means he has a lot of good supports. As for Croc, another godly Clash character, this Croc is so damn good. Especially if you're missing Legend Croc. He can remove all of those chain locking defects that you get applied to yourself. And then if your captain is a Striker or a Cerebral, he gives you 3 turns of a chain boundary, starting at 2 times, going up to 30, I'm pretty sure. And because he does damage, you can use the Mr. 1 support if you're actually lucky enough to have the Mr. 1 support. He can't be blown away, so he's great for stuff like Garbs Challenge, Worst Generation as well. So if you are struggling there, he's very, very good. This Zoro is actually pretty awesome. He's pretty awesome. I don't know if I'd say he's God tier. He sets defense to 0 and he can remove paralysis. He is a Zoro though, but I just don't think he's as good as this Clash Zoro, so I'm going to tick him in awesome. Probably subject to change there, because he could probably move up into godly, as I have used him like quite a bit. As for Blue Gilly and Monet, they are going straight to Valhalla. Get them out of here. Carrot. This Carrot is actually really interesting. So this Carrot, basically, she can remove 3 turns of defense up and damage reduction. She's also an attack booster to Quick and Int. And if you use a Quick and Int special, she'll give herself 3 turns of cooldown. And then if you use her special again in the same turn, you can get a 2.25 times attack boost. For a Clash character, this is so good. Like, this is actually insane. Getting 6 turns of defense up and damage reduction removal. Honestly, like, for me, I kind of want to put up her in godly. The downside is like, to get that double special, you kind of need to build the team right. And that way you need to get her cooldowns back. So I just don't think she's as good as, say, these characters here. Because they just do what they need to do. They're just like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Where she's more of like if you build the team right, you can make her really, really good. Kobe Helmeppo, they're another, like, good unit. They're a slasher, as well as a free spirit in one of their variations, and they're Psi and Int, which makes them very, very good under stuff like Wodger. But the upside to these guys is they can remove Threshold. They're a 2 times attack booster, which can be kind of nice. But, like nowadays, like, it's kind of like 2 times attack boost, kind of like these guys, you know, like it's 2 times orb boost, whatever. The main reason I've got them in good is because of their utility, as well as giving a nice attack boost as well. That's sort of why they're good. I guess you could maybe say to me that they're awesome, but like characters like this that can give a lower buff, but still give orb manipulation that work tandem with themselves, for me is just a little bit nicer. Shanks and Mihawk. Shanks and Mihawk, they're a self-proccing conditional booster that you never ever get. They can remove Special Blind, and it's only 2 turns though, so look, they're pretty niche. When you can get the condition off, like you're below 50% and they're not immune to delay, they work great, like really, really good. But it's very rare that you actually see that. As for Bonnie, I kind of want to stick Bonnie up here in Godly. I don't know if I would say she's godly, though. I feel like she's more awesome than godly. She removes 5 turns of defense up and 5 turns of threshold. She has your full body recovery orbs, which is really, really nice. I think she gets through block orbs as well. She's a free spirit fighter. She's amazing for the Hawkins Forest. If you're struggling with the Hawkins Forest, get this girl done. But other than that, like, I don't really use her anywhere else. In saying that, though, she can be used anywhere else. So, for, like, we'll leave her up here in godly. She also, like, increases recovery, so all of those recovery orbs are going to give you a lot of healing as well. But for me, she's kind of at the back end of this particular list. I would sort of, like, stick her, like, all the way down here, to be honest, if I'm completely honest. This ordering, by the way, is not the order of the characters that I would do them in. This is just, like, the order of how they're being slotted in on the tier list. This Raid CP0 unit, they're pretty good. They have the Captain Swap mechanic. They can also remove Special Reverse, I'm pretty sure, in their Captain ability. That might be the Neo version, though. Yeah, so it's the Neo version that can give you the Special Reverse in the Captain. But this guy can still remove Resilience and Damage Reduction and then give you the Captain Swap for 2 turns. Which means when you move into the next stage, you can avoid something like a Captain Swap. So for that reason, I would say he's pretty good. The utility's nice, but it's mainly just getting around that Captain Swap. This Jinbei, for me, this Jinbei's godly. Setting defense to 0, 2 times color affinity boost. He's basically just a better version of this Akainu. In my opinion, he's just a better version of Super Type Sabo. He also removes 3 turns of attack down, which is nice. He's a Jimbo, so that means you got some pretty good supports. This Kaido he's good. Gives a 2.25 times attack boost to int characters, provided you hit a 12 plus in the chain. I'm pretty sure he also has utility as well. Yeah, so he can be a 40% HP cutter, and as well as giving adjacent orbs. So he got a little bit of utility there. He's a good option if you need like a solid attack boost. But for me, like, I would probably run something like Kobe Helmeppo more. You know what? I'm going to bump Kobe Helmeppo up into awesome. I do think they're probably better than these characters here. Lucci's probably on the cusp as well of going up into awesome. I would move Lucci if you just didn't have that mechanic where you need like 3 strength units or like 3 quick and int units. It's just a bit annoying, to be honest. He was built for bullet though, so like if you build the team out right, you do like 3 strength and you get 3 quick and int, you can get both of that. And I guess if you do that, like you could easily get him to pop off. Now that I'm actually looking at this, I feel like Kuma needs to come down. Yeah, Kuma needs to come down. 1.75 times orb boost is just kind of like whatever. Yeah, I'm going to bring Kuma down to good, and I'm going to bump up Helmeppo, Kobe Helmeppo, and Lucci. I changed my mind. Sorry, chat. I told you this was subject to change. On to Raid Crocodile now. This Raid Crocodile, like, he has some utility. He does give a really nice support, 0.3, and he has also a 0.8 booster to the chain. I feel like because of his utility, he's like quite nice. But like, there's just better Crocs in the game, if I'm completely honest with you. Can you just go to the front, please, Crocodile? Thank you. There's probably just better Crocs. His utility is quite good though. 5 turns of like paralysis as well as 5 turns of despair can be useful, as well as just like a nice attack buff. So I think, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. This Garp needs to go. The Raid Ivankov he's trash. Nightmare Luffy. I'm going to talk about this Submark in a second, but I'm trying to remember what he does. Nightmare Luffy. He's actually got a huge buff compared to the regular Nightmare Luffy. He has utility in terms of threshold removal. He does like 17 random hits, which is great for getting through barriers that have like hit boost. Plus, he's also an attack booster to powerhouse characters. He's actually pretty good. Like, he's a pretty good character. Definitely, like, the downside to him is he's a Luffy, but that also works in his favor. As to this Super Mask, I'm pretty sure he does like a chain boost. And then like a carryover chain boost, if I remember correctly. He does something else with tandem orbs, but I just honestly cannot remember what this guy actually does. He's pretty solid. I remember he gives a really, really big chain boost. Like a really big chain boost. Like a 1.1 off the top of my head. Thing is, you're never using it. Like, you're never using him, to be honest. So for me, he's just pretty solid. I think he has an utility, which makes him kind of like whatever. And there's just other options when it comes to that particular character. As for Neo Virgo, I had totally forgot what he does. I know he's just a buff version of this Virgo. After checking out what he does an orb boost, and if you have an orb boost, he's a color affinity booster. So he's okay, he's pretty niche. Downside is you can't farm him up because he's a Neo character. Hopefully they find a way to bring those characters back for everyone, because like Neo Duval you don't have to worry about. Neo Hercules, you don't need to worry about him. But next we have Usopp and Chopper. They're pretty niche. They give a 1.5 times attack and orb boost, and they have like a delay, I'm pretty sure. They switch is quite nice with healing, but other than that, like, you're never really using them unless you're running like free to play teams. Coming into the back end, some of the newer Clash characters now. We have Clash Brook. I had what Clash Brook does in my head, and then I was like doubting myself. I was like, no, that's Colosseum Brook. But this Clash Brook, he has double special, and he can remove Threshold and Special Bind. The downside is he only removes Special Bind himself for 3 turns, and you can technically get 6 turns with him. He's a conditional boost as well. To delay, but the thing is you have to get the delay off. So for me, he's just kind of good. I wouldn't say he's awesome. If you can get him to proc the way you want him to work, it is awesome. But like, it takes a lot to get him there. Like with Carrot, it's not as hard to get her double special activation sort of popping off because you can build the team very easily around that. Where with Brook, if you need the 6 turns of special bind, you got to find some special supports and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I do think he can be awesome, but like, it takes a lot to make a free to play character like awesome. In terms of getting that 6 turns of special bind. That's the big knock I have with him. Arena, Shinobu, and Nami. If I remember correctly, they're a color affinity booster, as well as removing bind and despair. They also randomize orbs into like tandem and recovery. That's the aim of them. But they give the clock buff for like more color affinity. It's kind of nice if you need someone to give you color affinity on the final stage. But other than that, like, it's just kind of like cool. You know, it's color affinity. It's there. Luffy Tara. This Luffy Tara is awesome. He removes Special Bind, and he's like an orb booster, and then you carry into an attack booster with if you hit a certain amount of perfects. I just remember he's incredibly powerful. The Special Bind utility was awesome. He has some other utility in him as well. As for this Marco is pretty awesome. Like, he does a lot of healing. If you have a bunch of free spirit characters, he can heal up to like 100% of your HP. And he's also an orb booster. He has some utility in there too. I just, for the life of me, cannot remember what his utility is. But he's pretty awesome. Like, Look, I'd probably say he's good. He's probably on par with his Brook, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it. He's definitely not bad. But yeah, I can't remember what his utility is. But like, if you've got good utility, he might be higher. But if I can't remember, it's probably not that amazing. As for the Clash Buggy, I do think Clash Buggy's pretty awesome. He's a 2x orb boost, as well as giving orb manipulations through block and tandem and recovery and all those types of orbs. He does have like bind and despair special bind removal as well, if I remember correctly. But he's a pretty awesome character. He's a buggy unit too, so you can like use him on the Grand Voyage. Actually, no, I think his cost is 50. I think I'm thinking of the Clash Buggy from the Buggy Crew unit. But there you guys go. That's the raid character tier list. Like I said, these characters down the bottom here, sending them off to Valhalla. The only characters you guys can't see here is like Neo Duval and Neo Hercules. I can't even say it. So don't stress about those two units. But everything else, this is sort of what I would target first, this godly tier. All of these Clash characters are like the creme de la crop. Awesome underneath here. These are like your next of kin. I guess you could like Brook is on the cusp for me. I think I'll put him up into awesome just for the sake of it, because when he works, right? And the double special is quite nice when you can proc it, I guess. So I'm gonna put him up in awesome. The awesome tier. These two tiers are the ones I would focus on. These particular tiers here, you can use them every now and again. I think this Luffy is pretty much on the cusp of moving up into awesome as well. Solid down here. These guys here, like they're okay. They're kind of just here. I feel like these guys need to be up here just because like they're good. Yeah, they're good. They're good. So I'm gonna bring you guys down actually, because you just give cooldowns. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. The good tier, like I would start working on these characters if you're a newer player. Now that I'm looking at it too, like this Judge, he needs to go up into awesome. He can remove 5 turns of chain lock as well as be a 2x color affinity. Like that's actually really, really good. If I got this Cracker up here in awesome, this Judge has got to be up here in awesome too, right? So let's put Judge up there too. Again, sort of just maxing out their limit break and their level limit break. Not getting them to level 150. I need to reiterate that. Make sure that you guys understand. Don't get these characters to level 150. Some of these guys might have good supports, but you have to get them to level 150 for that to be the case. Kind of like this Garp, which I'm just completely changing my mind now. But nevertheless, these particular characters are fairly, like, they're okay. Like, I would sort of stop at the good tier here, unless you need these characters for some particular reason. Niche, obviously, like, you may need them every now and again, but, like, it's not, like, something that you would do. These two here, though, I do want to quickly, like, gloss over in terms of the fact they're niche. I would definitely, as a newer player, farm these guys up. These two units here, more this Big Mom rather than this Blackbeard, because in Treasure Map, she is such an absolute weapon, where she always finds her way onto the buggy team, where this Blackbeard is kind of like if you're just getting very high in Treasure Map. So I didn't want to make that apparent at the end of the video, not while I was rambling through, because I didn't want it to take too long. But this Big Mom, I'd definitely get her up, get her done, because you can use her under a buggy captain as well, where this guy here, he's sort of just so you like your hardcore Treasure Map grinders. But there you guys go. I'll leave a picture of this at the end of the tier list as always. Make sure to smash the like button if you did enjoy today's video. If you are new, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's